Well, hot dang, you just landed yourself in the hottest place right now on Twitch TV. Welcome back to the WCS Europe Season 3, Round of 16. It's time for the winners game. Alongside me is Mr. Apollo, fresh from commentating our last game. Extraordinary couple of games, actually. Not perhaps the way we thought they might pan out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that for the general viewers that are watching, would have pegged the winners to be the opposite way around. A lot of people know Happy being consistent in the round of 16, probably put in favor over TargA, and then Stardust being a champion of a title that is so hard to gain, going up against Welmu, who is a good player but not a champion. A lot of people would have thought that was reversed.
Yeah, okay, so what we've got right now is Welmu versus TargA. One of them's going through to the quarterfinal. Let's have a look at the bracket just to confirm. If you're just joining us and you have missed a couple of fantastic matches, well, good news for you. You can catch them on the VODs tomorrow. But for now, we're going to concentrate on TargA versus Welmu. The other game is Happy versus Stardust. One of those is going out, Sean. I mean, let's just stop on that moment for a moment. Happy or Stardust will be out. That's crazy.
It's not meant to be for a lot of people in that regard. But to be honest, I think that Happy's form has not been as good as what we've seen over the last 6-12 months. And Stardust knows how to play a good game. So I would peg as a favorite towards that. Has to be Stardust there.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the game we've got coming up next. It's the winners game. One of these two, as we've already said, makes the round of 8. Welmu's already been there before, got smacked down, if I'm honest, by MC last season, but he's been there before. You heard him earlier in the interview. He said, you know, he's got experience now. He knows what it takes to get through to the round of 8. He's done it once before. He's been off to the season finals. He's played big names like Rain and MC. He knows how to get there.
I think this is a very pressure match, so for TargA, because of the things that you list. Welmu, I would say, would be coming into this rather confident. The one problem with Welmu's confidence coming into this, he may, underrate his opponent a little bit, and that's a very scary thing to happen because TargA is not really expected by a lot of people to even make it out of this group, and he, mass expectations if he does so. The one thing we should look at coming into this series, though, is the clash of styles. TargA is very well defensive. He's a very good defensive player and really deals with a lot of all-ins that come from Protoss players. The bigger example we can look at is beating Naniwa. Naniwa tried to all-in him. It was stopped. Welmu's an aggressive player. We know that. We've seen it. If he plays that style, is he not then playing into TargA's hands?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the other thing is, you heard Welmu earlier saying that Matt won against Stardust. He wanted to kind of feel him out a little bit. He didn't know quite how he was going to play. He was aware that, with no disrespect, he can be a bit cheesy sometimes. So he wanted to kind of just feel his way in gently to that game. And he was very defensive early on. I think Grubby said during the first map, that's really he's being super defensive. This is not Welmu. This isn't the Welmu we know. So has that kind of shown us that actually he can flip around and he can play a different game?
Absolutely, and I think that's the way he's probably going to play it. If we look at history, we'd look at another way, but I think he's going to be coming into this rather confident, first of all. And with confidence, you usually play a more reactionary and sit-back, laid-back style because you want them to make the first move. You want to feel them out, as you described, because then once you feel them out, you know what they're capable of, how they're going to play, and then if you're the confident player to go for the longer game, then that's where your strengths are going to lie.
All right, thanks, Sean. We're going to take a quick break with Apollo, and we'll see him after the game. He'll be breaking down this particular match. It is the winner's game. It's coming up right now. It's Welmu versus TargA. It's not quite a David versus Goliath, but there's definitely a favourite here, and definitely an underdog. It's time to go over to your commentary team for this one. It's Kalaris and Grubby.
Thanks very much, Paul. Welcome to the caster's desk with myself, Kyle Harris, and the Grubster. It's been a while, my friend.
Yeah, it's so good to be back here. We did a lot of casts last year for WCS 2012. So cool to be back here with you, man.
Yeah, it's come full circle. It's come full circle. And now we have one player advancing on to the round of 8. Is it going to be TargA or is it going to be Welmu? As those guys said, the matchup that not a lot of people predicted, but these guys certainly already seem happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is going to go through. The other one has another shot. They just need to win one best of 3 of the next 2 that they're playing. Of course, no slouches coming up from the bottom. Especially Welmu should be a little bit maybe afraid if Happy comes up and he has to play there. But let's take a look at the maps. A lot of conjecture. This is what matters. Limelight's on these 2.
Yeah, Akelon Wastes go first here as TargA gets rid of that. Protoss obviously liking to get up their 3 bases and go for the macro game from there. And in my mind, Protoss on 3 bases against a Zerg, that's a scary thing to go up against for a Zerg.
Yeah, it can be a very scary prospect. And I'd be a filthy liar if I said I was surprised at these map vetoes so far.
Well,
which I'm not.
Go.
Trust me.
I shall. Well, Polar Knight disappears, and then Whirlwind for Welmu. And then Yonsu for TargA. So that
Okay.
leaves us with Belshir, Derelict, and Frost.
I think that's a very good choice by TargA. We've had a lot of Zergs not removing Yonsu or even picking it, which I was a little bit surprised about, because there's a lot of paths, which is good to force field off. I feel like this is the most relevant map veto, or the most logical map veto so far I've seen from a Zerg. So I definitely thought about it there, Mr. Dignitas. TargA. 3 maps are remaining.
Yeah, I would agree with your sentiments about Yonsu. I mean, it's arguably the smallest map that's kind of been included as of late, and you know, getting across there, piling on some aggression, and there's even some places at the third base which are pretty easy to force field off as well for a Protoss. So it can be a little bit dicey for the Zergs there dealing with that. I knew he was.
TargA
Being
coming down
funny.
to Welmu's level. Of course, everyone knows you can't shake someone's hand if you're a little bit taller than them. So
I know.
nice of them to come down there from his high perch.
Paul said it wasn't David and Goliath at the beginning, but apparently it is seemingly to TargA. He's a bit taller in this regard.
But we all know how that ended for Goliath, actually. So
Yeah, and Welmu, he's a pretty tough customer, gotta say. So he could be able to bring that upset as well if that were to dictate exactly the results that would go on. But at the same time, I have to agree with what Apollo said. This is a pretty big clash of styles. TargA is a Zerg player that we've seen even in the round of 32. When you throw something at him, like a 2-base all-in, like an Immortal all-in, he can hold it really well. Naniwa tried it, and it failed.
yeah. And Welmu, well, he used to be a very, very heavily 2-base player, but he's definitely developed his macro. And it's kind of funny. Welmu is known for his PvP, but that was only 55% win rate. Maybe now 56.2 or whatever.
Just whatever.
But his actually, statistically speaking, I saw his PvZ was the best. Now, have they played before? Do you know?
I'm trying to rack my brain as to whether or not they have played before. They did play at Assembly, the recent
right.
Assembly,
Yes.
and it was 3-2 in favor of Welmu. And I believe that TargA, even previously to this, said that he wanted to play him just to get revenge for that particular result. So that is certainly on the cards. But TargA, as of late in the WCS system as a whole, sitting at 44%. Not the highest, but you have to take into account the fact that that recent win against Naniwa, with a very similar style to what we were seeing from Welmu with his very aggressive play, was in there as well. And TargA adapted from Series 1 to Series 2 extremely diligently.
Yeah, and a nice memory there on that result for TargA and Welmu. And you know what the beautiful thing about StarCraft 2 is? You can always change who you are.
Oh,
You can always be a better man and be a better player. So statistics, it's the past. And everyone's going to try and bring a new self here and impress everyone with that.
And as you said before, you know, Welmu here sitting at 66% win ratio in this matchup. That's not too bad. That is not too bad going into this series. But if I had to peg it, if I had to give who I think would advance on from this series, if TargA can just buckle down once again and deal with an aggressive player like Welmu, I think he's going to have a lot of success. You, being our resident Protoss here, going up against a player like TargA, where do you think TarGA's weaknesses lie in the matchup?
TargA, he piles on the pressure pretty early, but he doesn't do it right away. First, he gets a kind of almost unfair drone advantage. He tries to sneak it in there, get those drones. If he sees it's possible, if he knows you're a gateway expand player, hatchery, spawning pool. No. Actually, it's hatchery, gas, and then spawning pool.
Super greedy.
It's very greedy. But after that initial big drone explosion, he starts with the aggressive explosion. And he keeps it up pretty long. He'll take a 4th base during the attack, but he doesn't saturate it. So what he's going to throw at you is as many units as 3 bases can produce. His weakness, if any, is going to be in if your defense is immaculate. If your defense is perfect, he's going to burn out. And he'll fizzle like a candle going out after a romantic dinner with 2 wines. So we saw that in TargA against Tot a little bit, didn't we? On Whirlwind, Tot with the immaculate defense after looking very far behind. And TargA just kept attacking. It's the only thing he knows how to. So is Welmu's defense going to be up to scratch? Let's wait and see. The game is starting, Galaris.
Oh, it is. And it's Derelict Watch our first map. And I'm very excited about this because of everything you just said. The fact that TargA can sit around on like 180 army supply and really ramp up the pressure between that natural and that 3rd base. So without further ado, guys, let's get into game number 1 between Dignitas TargA and NRS Welmu. One of these players will advance on to the round of 8 in first place on day 1 of the round of 16. As we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, our red Zerg. Representing Dignitas, as well as Norway, he is TargA. And over to the top right-hand corner, our blue Protoss, representing NRS and Finland, he is Welmu. All right, Robbie.
The winner of this series is going straight to the round of 8. For Welmu, it would be 2 consecutive round of 8s. Is that a feat that has been repeated yet, has been done yet, besides by anyone except, I think MVP has done it?
I think...
No. Actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, MVP. MVP, unfortunately for him. No, he didn't.
Nice little subtle praise of myself there.
Good job, Grubby, good job.
But Europe, there's this talk about the WCS Europe curse. Someone who goes to top 8 doesn't make it again next time. If Welmu does it here, that's a pretty special feat. For TargA, it would be a premiere.
Yes, it certainly would be, and that's a good point that you bring up. We previously in season 1 had the fact that none of those top 8s actually made it to the top 8 again. We still have 5 of 8 left going into this round of 16, so that's not too bad a position. And Welmu is in a prime spot to advance on, but again, we come back to Derelict Watcher here in game number 1. And TargA, as you previously mentioned, loves to get that economic advantage really early. And you see that prolonged mid-game focus for him for a long time. I'm expecting, Roach Hydra focus on this map and then just sitting in between those 2 bases and making it really hard for Welmu to have that 3rd base really, really pay for itself.
That's a very safe bet. Definitely we could see this happening. TargA not overstretching his bounds by too much, not getting that 3rd hatchery before. As we can see, he doesn't have any info yet whether there's going to be a forge first or a gateway expansion. Welmu, he went with the gateway expansion. Now, let's take a little bit of a note of his 2nd pylon placement. There it is. That's the 2nd pylon, not the 3rd. What this does basically is to say, okay, against a 10 pool or a 6 pool, I'm going to be a little awkward. I'm probably going to lose that pylon. And it's not going to be good for me. But if you're straying away from that kind of thing, I'm going to have 2 advantages. 1, I need 1 less pylon at the around 4 or 5 pylon count. I'm not going to go into massive oversupply, which makes my build a little bit sharper. 2, if you're going to go for the recent kind of metagame build from people like Dongregu and Nesty, and you want to build a hatchery on my natural, I'm going to find out about it straight away, rather than when I'm kind of unsuspectingly sending a probe to my natural. So these advantages are pretty big, and it's just a little bit bad against Cheese. But TargA, he's a starting macro player.
Yep, yeah, he's getting that speed going here, just to kind of gain himself a little bit of map presence, maybe poke around at the front here. I'm expecting, Welmu to throw down a few gateways at the front. We have seen him use 4-gate pressure in the past, and it's something that TargA has been a little bit susceptible, even in the round of 32. Naniwa won an entire game off of TargA with a 4-gate pressure.
And what map was that on, Kalaris? It was Derelict Watcher.
Oh, yes, it was.
Now, we do see 3 extra gateways coming up here from Welmu, which is a little bit unusual because he opened with 2 gases. Usually you see it off of 1 gas, but this is a little bit less all-in. It could still be that he's making these gateways partly as fake pressure, and partly because, well, you need that many gateways to wall it off properly. And if one of the gates is a forge, you still maintain the wall, but you don't really have that massive threat kind of danger to the opponent. So it's like, oh, well, you win a forge, your attack is not going to be, like, fully committed.
Well, here we go. The 4-gate pressure, it could still actually just not happen at all here from Welmu, is going to commence. The Zerglings have already seen it. This is already a lot of Zerglings wrapped around that pylon, so I don't think that Welmu will fully commit to this. He's going to warp in some and try and defend this. Do you think he can make this work?
Yeah, he's going to kill these Zerglings, and if he hadn't done it, TargA would instantly switch back to drones. But as it is, he's making more Zerglings, and that's probably the right choice. I wasn't sure he's going to warp in Zealots because he was making some headway with forcing Zerglings already. We still see nothing but Zerglings coming from TargA right now. At this moment, more Zerglings. We've got more Zerglings coming and more Zealots. So Welmu's Dirk Shrine got spotted.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation there for Welmu. This was his kind of contingency backup follow to the Zealots that are now pressuring this position. I mean, they're protecting that pylon. It's a great position to warp in the Dark Templar from, but if they're already known about, Spore Crawlers are already going down, Grubby. I don't think this is going to work out too well.
Yeah, but okay, put yourself in Welmu's shoes. You say, I'm going to go Zealot pressure and then have no anti-air defense. I'm not going to have anything that stops scouting.
Yeah.
am I going to expect you just to not Overlord Scout me? I have to say, really, you can't expect that. You can't hope for that much luck. So I'm gonna have to kind of say that Welmu expected it to get scouted. I'd be surprised if that was his only plan in the game, for the Darkstrider not to be scouted. And he hasn't made a sick amount of probes. What about he's just gonna make 4 GTs, 2 Archons, and just go for it?
Does that work against a player that's already going for roaches here in this position?
I don't think so.
No?
Well, let's wait and see. He's getting this Queen. And there goes the first time warp. I think it's decent. Zealot's getting very good surface area. We stand as one.
Exactly. They're in a nice big circle here, so they can't really get wrapped around by those Zerglings. And now, actually, that was not too bad a trade there. Dark Templar's going to walk in as well, starts working on these roaches. And there was no layer, right? So he's not going to have an overseer. He has to be in range of those Spore Crawlers for these Dark Templars not to do damage.
Oh my god, is there just one Spore Crawler? No, there's a second. That's very nice foresight by TargA. 1 can get taken down, 2 being taken down would be a huge fluke.
Very nice, but at the same time, during all of this, because of all of the unit production that TargA's had to do, look at the drone to probe count. It's 22 to 40. Welmu behind this has been chrono boosting those 2 Nexi very, very aggressively.
Yeah, very nice to point that out, Colors. That's really, I mean, that's really the red line. If we didn't point that out and then the game goes on, people will be like, huh, why he defended so well?
Yeah.
This is really the hidden meaning, and oh my god, he's gonna get the Spore Crawler. No layer.
Oh, no layer whatsoever. These Dark Templars have done so well. I said it in my analysis before. You guys, you got to be careful of Welmu's Dark Templars. They get the job done, and right now they certainly are. Look at this guy having to walk across non-creep to try and get there.
Yeah, good luck, have fun getting that Spore Crawler down. And the hatchery is still gonna go down. He's blocking his own Spore Crawler.
You need to burrow. You need to burrow. Oh, actually, I think he should be able to save this.
Hatchery's going down.
He has to save it.
Down.
He has to be able to save it. Oh my god, just one last hit. The perfect moment for Welmu to kill that off. He takes a fantastic lead in this game.
Yeah, and TargA's like, aw, no drones, no hatches. What am I gonna do?
Cry and try and, well, he stopped Dark Templar warping in, I guess, but that's gonna be the small boon here that TargA has for himself. And he's gonna push up against that wall, see he can't break it because there's so many force fields, and then I expected GG.
You don't have to kill that pylon while TargA's gonna try and do it for you. And here he comes. The Phoenix is gonna show everything. So even TargA's surprise attack here will not be able to work. What does Welmu need to do here from this point? Massive economy lead.
Yeah.
He's got the upgrade lead. He can make Archons. He's developing his Blink Tech upgrade Robo. I can see him just making an Observer, maybe 1 Immortal. Just go for it again. He can always recall out if it gets too hairy.
Because of all the focus on an aggression that Welmu went for there, do you think that TargA feels he's not as far behind as he initially thought? Because maybe the probe count isn't as wild as it was. I mean, it's 52 right now. He has evened up a little bit. But
yeah, but usually after an attack like that, which is held off pretty decently, you see TargA like, boom, 15 drones.
Yeah.
Very common sight. He couldn't do that because of the ramped down unit production with the hatchery. At this point, normally, when he sees, okay, Welmu, you're going into a phase where there's no aggression for 3 minutes, he should be like 75 drones against 50.
Exactly.
Very common sight. What do we got? We got 56 probes against 45 drones. I think TargA takes one look at his drone count and it's like, FML.
Yeah, it's a tough spot because now TargA would love to be pressuring this position as Welmu sets himself up this 3rd base. But Welmu's aggression, it killed no drones, but it was indirectly stopping drones from being produced themselves. So this is a very tough spot from TargA. I was not expecting this kind of game out of Welmu. I was expecting him to try and get the 3rd base up and just sit back and hold tight, weather the storm, but apparently not.
Really good decisions by him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, the decision now to go for a 3rd. Normally, when the Protoss goes for a 3rd, Zerg has 2 options, right? They're gonna go massive greed, even greedier than you, or they're gonna go attack you very, very heavily. Oh, he can't do either one because he doesn't have production. So the safest thing against someone who does have a basic standing army, which was the Zealots, the Zerglings and Roaches, is to take and expand. He's definitely sure he can defend it. And then he's got triple base production, make some cannons, go for a big 3-base attack. Fully not committed, not all in, but very, very safe. Excellent decision making here by Welmu on day 1. And it could be making him advance in 1st place in this group.
It certainly could be if he's able to play out the entire series like this. Another nice move from Welmu is the fact that he knows that his opponent his economy was hurt a lot. So TargA is going to be making do with what he's got. He's going to be making do with Zerglings, he's going to be making do with Roaches. He's producing a lot of Immortals right now. They're not going to allow those Roaches to be alive for very much longer. So Welmu's building, in my opinion, quite a nice army against what his opponent has.
Yeah, I mean, how is he able to make such a good army? Constant Phoenix scouting, hallucinated Phoenix.
It's very good. He's just keeping an exact eye on what his opponent's up to. And these supply differences, especially at this 15-minute mark, they should not look like this. The Zerg should be much, much higher, pressuring and doing whatever they want to do around the map, having full map control in essence. But Welmu has turned this matchup completely on its head in game number 1. It's crazy to watch.
Welmu is borrowing a quote from Kerrigan. We are the swarm. He's got 70 drones, 70 probes against just 57 drones. And completely happy with the situation in this game. He's even so confident that he can just stand in the middle of the map here.
Yeah.
All his sentries have full energy if it wasn't for the Phoenix hallucination scouts. He's got a lot of force fields. He can just play it out calmly. And TargA, he's kind of biding his time. He's in that really awkward spot where he wasn't sure if he should tech, make army for an impending attack, or go massive droning. And he did neither one. None of the three. He went a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I suppose the one thing that could bring TargA back into this is that if he gets that infestation pit up and if he gets pathogen glands going, maybe with a lot of fungals, then maybe he could try and shut down this army, because there's not really too much range in this army. But Welmu looks as if he's just going to go right now, and this is a brutal attack to hold.
Yeah, I mean, there could almost not be a better timing. He's got that really big army which cannot really get surrounded and crushed anymore, even if he's out of position. Force fields will dominate the battle. He's really confident, just walking onto creep saying, hello, here I am, here's my War Prism. +3 isn't done yet, but it's more important. As you said, he beats that fungal timing. There will not be any fungal growth. Expect to see a massive wall of force fields going in here anytime.
Oh dear. Yeah, double time warps there to slow down any movement at the front. He's trying to swing in from the back. TargA taking a good engagement from both sides, but it's not going to be enough. Too much firepower from Welmu. GG. Game number 1 goes to the Finn, and wow, what an impressive bit of aggression there from the Finn.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of true, wasn't it? The Dark Shrine got spotted and he doesn't care.
He doesn't. He never cares. In PvP, he doesn't care. In this matchup, he doesn't care. I'm worried for the Terrans.
I'm worried for the Dark Shrine, the DT speed buff in Welmu's hands.
Imagine.
Yeah.
You'll never catch him.
So this was super interesting by Welmu. I mean, it's not like this has never been done before to TargA. 4-gate into DT. It's like a pretty obvious jab into punch, 1-2 type of play. But the way he did it, Dark Shrine gets scouted, he makes non-stop zealots, he hugs the pylon, he doesn't overinvest in pylons which can get taken down. So in terms of efficiency, Welmu didn't lose anything. He was making a lot of army. TargA was scared. He knows. He's on 3 base. He has to overproduce. He necessarily has to overreact against that type of attack. Because if he just holds it, there's a chance that the next wave kills him. So he makes that much army. And then says that, okay, maybe I'm going to be behind in drones, but you're going to be on 2 base. I'm going to keep you on 2 base.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on 3. You won't ever be able to take a 3rd. And eventually I'll grab it back. Not so much in this game.
Not so much at all. Second map will be Belshir Vestige, and we've seen Welmu being comfortable in this, but as has TargA. Again, if we go back to what we saw in round of 32, TargA was able to dispatch of Naniwa pretty heftily on this map. It is, of course, it's the oldest map now, with Whirlwind as well, in the map pool. So these guys have a lot of wealth of experience on it.
Yeah. Now, the defender's advantage on this map is a little bit reduced as opposed to other maps. There are no ramps there are some, okay, there are ramps.
There are a few ramps.
There are ramps. Goodbye. I'm leaving. Especially on the 3rd base. If a Protoss has a 3rd base, it can be challenging to deal with Zerg attacks. Zerg can get behind the mineral line, commit their whole army, and still get a really good engagement out of that. Expect to see that move from TargA, moving Roach Hydra behind the mineral line.
I have to ask, whilst we now get into game 2, though, I'll bring my question back in a second, but game number 2 here, Belshir Vestige is our map. Welmu and TargA now facing off. The Finn 1 game up. The Norwegian looking to bring it back as we find out who is going to advance on to the round of 8. And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our red Zerg. Trying to bring it back. He represents Dignitas as well as Norway. He is TargA. And up to the top left-hand corner, the Finn currently 1 game up in this best of 3. Representing Neurosoft, he is Welmu. All right, well, I'm coming back to my question, Grubby. I'm coming back to it. In game 1, where we were seeing Welmu obviously applying a lot of pressure, the Zerg in that situation, obviously tons and tons and tons of Zerglings, that has to eat into your lava count, right?
Yeah.
Would something like an earlier Roach Warren have been a little bit better for the Zerg? What could he have done to adapt to that situation better?
Well, of course, hindsight is 20/20, but definitely in that case, he would have liked to have quicker roaches rather than the dependency on Zerglings.
Yeah.
The reason why a lot of Zergs are using Zerglings in defense is so that they save their gas, so that after all that, okay, they start making drones and they still have all their gas, so they can have a better mid game.
Right.
So, and also the Zerglings are better at getting across the map, denying bases. So with the roaches, you're kind of pigeonholed down that roach Hydra style really early, and your style becomes predictable. Whereas Zerglings can be followed up with Mutualists, Infestors, Swarmhost, anything, Ultralists. So there's more flexibility there. If you can hold with Zerglings, you prefer it. But sometimes you just need them roaches, man. Especially against a DT follow-up, it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, certainly so. And actually, it's a really good point that you bring up with, Zerglings having higher mobility and being able to get over the map, maybe deny bases and things like that. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh. Well, I was going to start talking about things like Ultralist transitions later on, because that's what
Those would be
likes.
really good against Cannon Rush.
They would,
Ultralist.
but we're not even going to get there because right now, well, he has spotted the pylon. Could this be a fake out, or is he actually going to go for it?
It's not a fake out. He's going to try it, and there it goes up. And there's only 2 drone surface area on that. Oh, very nice. A little bit more than you would normally like to spend. Oh, wait a minute. They're all cannons.
Oh,
yeah.
Are they all cannons?
Yep, but there's only 2 drones attacking this.
Oh, Welmu. Taking a page out of SOS's book and just going to go straight for this.
Oh, actually, one of them was a pylon. But yeah, there coming the Zerglings. He's not going to cancel that pylon. Zerglings will be able to cancel that cannon. First one is going to go up.
It's the cannon at the back that's the pain, though.
No cancel.
Oh.
That makes this a lot less efficient. Is he going to lock in all the units?
He could do. Oh, they're all locked in with that now, and the drones cannot evacuate if he just works on the Zerglings as well.
That's a death sentence.
Yeah. Bye-bye drones, bye-bye Zerglings. They're trying to get through that pylon, but it's not going to work. Look how much Welmu is committing to this.
Oh my god, and the hatchery finished.
Uh-oh. Well, one of those cannons was underpowered for a second until just then, and he's lost so much to that one cannon at the back.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh dear, he
I'm getting a little uncomfortable here.
Yeah.
Well, secretly I'm enjoying this a lot.
I know you are. Well, that hatchery is destined to die.
Wow.
And now creep spread's going to continue on through those bases, but 10 workers to 16. It was a big committal from Welmu, though.
Yeah, but it's not the kind where you commit a lot. They cancel the hatch or they lose one, but they're still getting another hatch. TargA completely committed to holding it. He wasn't going to cancel it. He didn't want to. And you know what? You can cancel it and be kind of equal. Maybe ahead, maybe a little bit behind. But he completely went for it.
He's got a lot of Zerglings in production as well behind this. I don't think he's even going to break this with these Zerglings alone. So he's going to have to come down once again. He actually saves the hatchery.
Okay. The queen almost goes down, but yeah, he's going to save it. The second cannon has full shields again. He can transfuse and come back in there. Almost full shields, but no HP. So eventually TargA will be able to clear this up.
All right, I don't think we gave TargA the credit due for actually saving that. That was pretty impressive. I mean, yes, he sacrificed a lot of Zerglings and at the beginning, a lot of drones to eventually deal with that, but saving that hatchery, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, it's it's a nice save. He's going to be able to kill the last pylon without getting attacked by the cannon. Worker counts, Killars. Worker counts.
Now well, 21 to 15.
That's a massive lead. Normally you'll see kind of equal probe count at around 28 workers in a normal type of game. But the Cybercore isn't all that much delayed either for Welmu. Like normally this cannon rush ends and then there's no Cybercore yet.
Yeah.
And Zur kind of stabilized and so on. TargA isn't stabilized. In fact, he's not even mining any gas yet. And we've already got sentries going. We've got a third gas going for Welmu.
Ooh.
I feel like he has complete control over this game here.
Now, if you're the Protoss in this situation, what do you go to? Do you go straight for, you know, the focus onto a third base, or do you get some tech, try and put some pressure on? What are your options here?
If I'm streaming now, I would go mass oracles, just to show that I can after that kind of start.
You're so pro.
I'm probably going to lose anyway, but, or maybe not. But in this case, you want to play it safe, right? So
Yeah.
I think you can make a gateway army.
Uh-huh.
You go out there. Looks like an army that can kill TargA. And if TargA is going for an eco all-in, it will.
Yes.
But at the same time, you can also make a third.
All right. Well, those are some good options here from Welmu. Welmu's the kind of guy that, in the past, has been the aggressor. But I actually think he falls back onto a third base here in a kind of similar vein to game number 1 and tries to play it out. This probe looking around.
Robo. So it's going to be...
Oh, okay.
That's a really late Robo. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking there's no Forge upgrade. Maybe he's just going to add 6-7 gateways and go massive amounts of Sentry Zealot with 1 War Prison. That's it. I don't see him going Immortals now. If he does, he's going to get slowed down so much. Waiting for 1, 2, 3 Immortals, it's going to be like minute 11 or 12. And TargA, as an experienced Zerg, he knows right now he has to go economic all-in, to the exclusion of all other possibilities.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to run middle of the road anymore. He tried that last game.
Yeah, going middle of the road is just going to get you killed. You have to take a little bit of risk here to try and kind of eke out those advantages. Now, this small army moving out in the middle is showing TargA just a small little portion of the army moving around, maybe looking to take a third, but with the Immortals on the way as well as +1. This could be, well...
So it's going into the classical Immortal all-in with about... like 2 minutes and 10-second delay. So we can say Welmu, he's about 2 minutes and 10 seconds behind normal schedule. How much is TargA behind? I think a little bit more.
Yeah, I certainly think so. I mean, the Roach Warren only now going down. Admittedly, that everything in this game has been pushed back a little bit.
Oh yeah,
because-
Roach Warren and Lair now, normally they start at 6, 7, well, Lair 7 minutes, Roach
Yeah.
Warren 7 minutes, and he's starting it at around 9:30. So he's about 2.5 minutes behind, maybe 3. So we've got Welmu with like a solid 30-40 second timing lead here. If he just hits a normal Immortal in, it's going to be very good.
Yeah, recalls out just to save those units. Every last man will not be sacrificed here.
Wow, look at the Zergling production.
Hello. Wow, what's he seen actually? Did he see a lot of gateways?
He said, I see you with 1 Zealot, 1 Sentry and a Mothership Core on my territory. Surely you're either a madman, which I know you're not, or you're epically mind-gaming me, and I think he discounted that because he was too scared. He said, if you have 1 Sentry there, knowing you're just going to die and get surrounded, you probably have a lot more coming. This is the attack. I need to start now. But he started producing a little bit too early, so drone count completely at a standstill, 50 drones, and this is it. TargA will only produce army from this point onwards.
And those Zerglings are actually threatening the army in quite an annoying position there for Welmu. He has to be very careful about where he steps right now. That's a lot of Zerglings actually pressuring into that natural, but no siree, not going to get that broken down just yet.
Okay, I want to backpedal a little bit here, Kalaris. We're making this a very one-sided, Welmu's going to attack and win. But does he... Is it going exactly like how he wants to? 50 drones is not too bad to stop a 1 Immortal attack.
Well, I think you kind of bring a good point up there in the fact that TargA just in general is really good at shutting down these kind of pushes anyway.
Yeah.
So I've seen him actually just crush through them with a big portion of army left. So maybe he can compensate here and get out a lot of units. He's already building spine crawlers over at that 3rd location just to try and make sure that he's well defended. It's still going to be tough, but he certainly could do it.
Yeah, and I don't want to lead people astray and make it sound like it's very lopsided here. Certainly, good force fields are going to determine whether or not TargA can even close in. But TargA, he's good at spreading around, attacking from multiple angles. The force field guys, the sentries, they look scary, but there's definitely a chance for TargA.
And there's only 1 Immortal. There's no Stalkers, so this is going to be a case of I need to lock things in with this army to kill them off.
Yeah, not just lock them out. Good point.
So he can't really divide and conquer. That's not too bad force fields, but there's a gap in the middle.
He killed 1 Roach.
He killed 1 Roach. That'll do for now. And let's see how he's going to throw these down as well. Haphazardly, over on the right-hand side, seals out quite a bit of that. Secures over on the left-hand side a lot of those Roaches that he needs to go to work on. But look at the surround here from TargA. This could be what he needs.
He's going to hold. There's a lot of queens here. TargA's going to hold. 1 Immortal's not going to do it. He's getting focused down right away. DPS is being reduced because the Immortal's getting put in the War Prism. All the force fields are gone. Sentries have no energy. They got warped in pretty late. Mothership Core goes down. TargA is going to crush this attack.
So many force fields were expended that early on that he just wasn't able to seal off every other avenue. And now TargA holds. Welmu is not sitting pretty here in game number 2.
Oh my god, Queen survives. As you said, man, Kalaris, you said it right. He's really good at defending these type of attacks. He had enough time too.
He certainly did. He knows, he positions himself so well on multiple fronts to then just come in from every single side. How many force fields do you need when that happens? A hell of a lot. How many did he have? Not too many.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I was counting the Guardian Shields and Force Fields. He started up with double Guardian Shield. Then after that, he did another. That's 75 times 3, 225 energy. Then he did 4 Force Fields, killed a Roach. The rest slipped through the net. Did another 4 Force Fields. That's a nice little tongue twister there. 4 Force Fields in the 4th floor. Okay, and he killed 1 Roach again. So that's 8 times Force Field to kill 2 Roaches. Had Welmu taken a similar approach to game 1, I dare say it might have been a lot harder for TargA.
Yeah.
Like, put pressure, but also get a third. Well, now, with 2 bases, you're limited to the amount of options you can do. There's only so much army you can make off of 2 bases, and you have to go quickly.
And that's what I was anticipating. I was anticipating that third. I was like, that looked so good in game number 1. Let's do some more of that. But no, in game number 2, he felt that the aggressive option was the better one. And against TargA, again, I have to say, breaking TargA, it's difficult. And now look at the position he's in. Getting 7 last Overlords to just say it's units, units, units from here on out.
Exactly. And what else does he really need to make? He doesn't need to go fancy and produce too much other stuff. Only thing that could make him lose if he goes only mass Roaches, but as we can see, he's adding Hydralisks, and they have really good DPS and range, switching up the range with the Roaches. Now, I can imagine, StarCraft 2 enters the school curriculum, people are in class, Welmu as a little boy is sitting there, and they're asking him, Welmu, what are you supposed to do in this situation? They show the game that he's playing now. Should you expand or should you attack? And he has some time to think about it, he did his homework, he's gonna say, just take a third. He's looking at that, just take a third. But in the heat of things, in the midst of things, decisions aren't quite as crystal clear. And he just kind of said, oh, I'm leading 1-0, I had a really good start. I don't know exactly where I'm at, but Immortal follow-up is always good. I feel like he kind of missed his opportunity there. Easy for us to say, right? But
of course,
very hard when you're in that game. Only now clearing up the Overlord, going for a very, very late third. And as soon as TargA's on to the fact that Welmu's adding Colossi, double Robo Colossi actually,
Exactly.
He's gonna make a Spire.
Yeah, definitely. And it's an interesting choice here from Welmu. It's kind of like, well, TargA at the beginning, he was forced into, I need economy now, right now, to actually make this work. And it worked. And Welmu's like, I need Colossi now, right now.
Yeah.
And can it work out here for him? Because it's already been spotted. He knows what's coming.
Yeah, Colossus got spotted, Spire gets made. It takes 100 seconds of Blizzard time to get built. So that gives Welmu, with the Corruptor, production time until about minute 19 to launch his final assault. No, sorry, not 19, I mean 20. Minute 20, his final assault. Now, he's still waiting on his Nexus. It started the same time as his Spire. He's building double gas. Is he gonna attack while his Nexus just finished? That would be the most epic anti-timing ever for him. So he's not gonna. TargA is maxed out right now. He's gonna want to attack when his supply differential to Welmu is the greatest, as it is right now. Then he's gonna remax on about 10 Corruptors most likely. And everything is gonna come down to engagement. He doesn't have a very smart army right now. The IQ of Roach Hydra isn't very high. Force fields can shut him out. Welmu is gonna try to force field the units out. Take as little losses as possible, or he won't be able to deal with the follow-up. Let's see how it goes, man. Here we go. TargA spreading out. He's getting ready for this. Whoa, 7 Colossi. Are they all real?
I don't think so. 2 of them indeed are hallucinated. Throws down force fields, catches a little bit of that army, and Welmu is gonna buy quite a bit of time, so there's not really too much room for TargA to pressure, but it all comes in once this air transition now follows on through. And do you think he can actually just break him outright?
It's going to be a little bit tough. Without Corruptors, I don't see him breaking Welmu at this time. Welmu, he needs to understand that right now he's not in any direct threat. He needs to work on a follow-up. He's low on probes.
Yeah.
He's got a decent economy now in gas. The gas is still mining in the main. So what he's going to have is gas. What he's not going to have is minerals. Not so much anyway. So he needs to say, okay, am I going to counter Corruptors, which are inevitable at this point, with Void Rays or with Stalkers? Maybe Vipers will be coming if he didn't do his scouting homework. Maybe he won't know for sure. Then he would need High Templars. So is he going to make Void Rays or Stalkers and blink?
Well, for me personally, I would say, the blink option is probably the better one in this situation, because then you have the Twilight Council in place to eventually transition onto the Templar Archives, which adds a little, an easier step for if the Vipers end up coming. So I think that would be the choice. How about you?
No, I completely agree with you. It's a very astute perception there from you, because if he goes for Void Race now, they're going to be like not upgraded. Just upgraded units. His ground is already 1-1-1. 1 attack, 1 armor, 1 shield. So investing in Void Race now with relatively low economy, it's going to be a little bit hard. No Twilight Council yet though, so is Welmu just going to hit a 200 supply army and say, I don't care how much bank you have. It's not going to be about the remax, you silly silly little goose. I'm going to attack you once and it's going to be over.
Yeah, no, Zergling's going to try and penetrate this third base and do kill off maybe 1 or 2 probes, but not much else. And the thing is that, Welmu there, saving his mothership core with double time warp on it is really, really important. Those corruptors were looking for that kill so diligently. If they could have got that, replenishing a mothership core, waiting for all the, the energy to come back, that would slow down Welmu's kind of eventual push, which is this.
Yeah, now there's a second chance for TargA. He can snipe it down, or he can force the time warp in an erroneous location. Look at Welmu. He's spending a little bit too much energy on his sentries down then. Always double Guardian Shield. Sure, it increases the surface area a little bit, but look at that. Not too many sentries.
Yeah, not too many sentries in the form of about 15 of them. Well,
a little bit overconfident of the way that Welmu can use those DTs perhaps. 2 Colossi going down. 2 Colossi going down. Do we have a third? Do we have a third going around? Third going once, going twice. Sold! No third going down to the man with the 2 Colossi.
Oh, I love being on auction houses, man. Those people are crazy. They can talk faster than any caster out there. But anyway, Welmu now warping in a few more Stalkers. This is his time. This is absolutely his time. He has to go. But at the same time, Great Aspire's on the way for TargA, which is what I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, he's developing his tech in very mysterious ways. He got Locust for possible Swarm out, but didn't start making any yet. Now he's got massive bank. And it's a good choice, I think, to go for Broodlords. There's no blink. And by the way, I just want to point out a little thing. Welmu cancelled shield upgrade earlier. He felt threatened, so he didn't end up getting it. There's no follow-up here from Welmu. There's no fourth. There's no ability to get a fourth against map control from TargA. And he doesn't have Twilight Council, so this is going to be it. He's going to remax on 10 Stalkers after he loses the first 10, and that's going to be it. And TargA just needs to buy time. 11 Broodlords are coming. You can't get through them without blink.
He knows that his opponent has to try and move out across the map now, and he's trying to buy that time with this counter attack up to the top right, killing off a lot of probes, forcing wall pins up there, might even pull his opponent's army back. But if I was Welmu, I would be going, because the timer is ticking above his head. Those Broodlords morphing in, scary stuff.
Yeah, if Welmu
defend his Colossi, and now he doesn't have blink to pressure those Broodlords, so he knows he can't push in. It would be absolute suicide for him to try and move forward. And he's lost 33 workers during all of this. So he goes home and tries to defend and waits for blink and waits for +2. But all the while, he knows that there is, again, another timer on him, which is that Broodlord army approaching him.
Yeah, and this time TargA has like 1.5 minutes where he can definitely kill the opponent, where he definitely should try to, I should say. And I don't think he's going to miss that timing. And it seems like Welmu's great decision-making process has kind of abandoned him in this game. As the going got a little bit more pressure, he made some mistakes here. Yeah, it's getting harder. It's getting later in the day. The ardent nature, their vitality is kind of abandoning them as the day goes on. So now TargA using a much underestimated unit, the Queen. Massive amounts of Queen. How many Queens does he have? He's got 17 Queens. Really good against 8 hallucinated Void Rays.
Very good indeed, I've got to say. As the Tough got going, the Broodlords also did, man. This army, TargA has mixed this in the past, and it just keeps these Broodlords alive forever. They're not going to die, especially to damage that doesn't exist. This is kind of weird.
17 Queens against 8 hallucinated Void Rays. Queens win hands down every day of the week.
Oh, but he doesn't have blink. He will actually blink forwards here and focus down a few of those Broodlords, but at the same time, the Corruptors, are they hitting the Void Rays, or
they
are
were
they hitting
initially,
the Colossus?
but now that the Overseers are in range, he sees that they're fake, and he can transfuse. the Broodlords are going down too fast. Oh, not enough critical damage anymore by the Stalkers. And now they're getting surrounded by Queens and Broodlords. GG, well played.
Wow, what a last engagement there. TargA, again, we've seen TargA mixing in those high queen counts, and he was doing this against Naniwar in the round of 32 once he saw that his opponent was going for very heavy, you know, Void Ray compositions. But of course, it has different utilities across the board. It can be used to keep Broodlords alive, which we all know, if they get going, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Wow, that was an epic death ball by TargA. Very calmly played, kept buying time, and brought the game to its obvious conclusion, maybe in a not so obvious way. He just prepared, if you're attacking now, I'm gonna start making Swarm House. I have the Locust upgrade, but if you're not, I'm gonna get what I'd even like to get, even more. So, I already had the Corruptors, just had to wait for his Great Aspire. Very nicely played, and I feel like the momentum has swung in TargA's favor, because this was a good start for Welmu, and he lost. So.
All right, what does he do on game number 3? Frost is our map here. As we go on to that. And Frost, you know, I've played quite a few ladder games myself on Frost, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly enjoying just the new maps. Not necessarily, I know some pros have some, you know, speculation about them, maybe not liking them that much, but for me, having gone into fresher maps and just being able to experiment and play around with them, that's a lot of fun for me. And as you can see here on our screen, we do have Frost. It is one of those larger maps, and it's important to note that all 4 spawning positions are available to you, so you don't constantly get that cross-spawn situation.
Yeah.
You can have weird games where you're like both left, both right, both up, both down. It's cool.
Yeah. Now, Frost, every race has their difficulties on Frost. For Zerg, it's finding out whether Protoss is on Gateway Expand or Forge Fast Expand early. So they cannot really go triple hatchery before pool, because there could be like a Forge Fast Expand, and then you're just asking to get cannon and probably lose.
Yeah.
But for Protoss, it's like, if Protoss is cross-mapped to Zerg, they can get caught pretty much anywhere. There's going to be burrowed Zerglings, Overlords, single Zerglings on Naga Tower control. Getting across the map is going to be hard. So what happens then? You take your third, you can probably defend it. Then if Zerg goes for Mutalisk, it's going to get a little bit tough. And especially base 4 and 5 are going to be hard for Protoss to take. But it's such an interesting map because the same playstyles don't necessarily work.
Yeah.
So let's see how innovative, how skillful, how adaptive are they. I'm so excited about this map. Really cool map as a third. Go, go, go.
Yeah, I'm liking it as well. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys adapt from game number 1 and game number 2 and now bring it to a big, big macro map here in game number 3 as we count down to find out who advances on to the round of 8 in first place here on Frost. All right, well, spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our Red Terror, Zerg even, representing Dignitas as well as Norway. Ladies and gents, give it up for TargA.
He's also a Red Terror.
A Red Terror? Cool.
Terror.
I like it. Okay, I like it. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner as our Blue Protoss, representing Neurosoft as well as Finland. Give it up for Welmu. How are you liking this map, Grubby? I would love to know the opinion of a Protoss pro gamer going into this map.
It's kind of a contradiction. I'm loving the map, but I'm also experiencing certain difficulties on it, particularly against Zerg. It's difficult for me. I'm not saying anything about balance.
Okay.
In fact, I think if you play right, if you play your cards right, you use Phoenixes in your play, this map can also be very good. There's a lot of places to hide pylons. Are Zerg really going to find them all? So just, you've got to really play to the map's strengths. And I feel like our community is awesome, it's great. But sometimes they don't appreciate enough that players, they just need to work hard to get to know a map. And just because a player loses at a map or statistics are in a certain way, that means it's impossible. We're looking at big errors here. There was big errors of imbalance for like years in Brood War until someone came and changed everything. Not with a patch, but just with the play style. So allow the players to prove it to you guys. Like, they won't disappoint you in the end. Everyone is working hard. So let's see what they're gonna do, man. We've got double gas from Welmu, looking a little bit like his other opening so far. I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen.
I have to agree with what you were saying. I mean, oh, hello.
Hello, good mind game.
Oh, TargA, you. Well, he's done this in the past quite a lot, and he's going to do it again, going for triple hatch before spawning pool.
Yeah.
Greedy, greedy man.
He's going to follow up with a pool this time, not an extractor.
You don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah.
Not too.
Because I've seen him go extractor right away after it, and
Yeah.
that means your speed finishes at 6:15, which is like 10 seconds after some of the earliest warp-in times, or maybe 15 seconds after. So it's like, yeah, I got speed links to counter everything. I've got massive amounts of larva production. It's okay for me to stop at 20 drones, because imagine, same thing happens as in game 1. It's going to be different, because he got a lot faster third hatchery. So
Yes.
ironically, although he's getting such an early hatchery, it's way better against gateway expansion. Way better. And it's going to be way easier to defend any kind of pressure. It doesn't make sense in your head at first. If you never played StarCraft, it's like, well, the opponent's only making units as fast as he can, and you only made hatcheries, but it's going to pay off. And the only thing really that is very risky against is double gateway proxy and cannon rush. Well, as soon as someone is not opening Forge, you can't double gateway proxy on Frost.
No, no, no.
Get mind game by TargA.
Get mind gamed, and you're right. You know, you invest in your production early on. Later on, it's going to make those defenses that little bit easier. So TargA running, you know, the risk and reward, it paying off for him here, and now spots everything he needs to. He knows exactly what's going on. He's getting speed. He's getting his double queens out. He's going to have those double lava injections going very soon, and that is going to fuel one scary, scary drone count, and then eventually one scary, scary army.
Yep. Now, third new unique strategy from Welmu. This time it's triple gateway into Stargate. Stargate can make 3 different units initially. I don't think he's gonna go for carrier rush.
No, no,
Do you,
no.
Colors?
I don't think so. I think he goes Oracle here.
Yeah, I agree with you. 1 Oracle into 1 Void Ray and expand, or just an Oracle into something else. I don't know. Probably, I would say Oracle, but it can be Phoenixes too, definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. There's certainly the options there available to him, and we've seen a lot of Phoenix do very well later on in the game. We saw previously in the Intel Extreme Masters qualifiers, we saw Zest using Phoenix to great effect, even though his opponent was well defended with Spore Crawlers. That's a lot of Zerglings in production. He knows something's going on.
Oracle with the Zealot Warpin. Zealot Warpin at 622. We've got speed finishing in just a few seconds, Galars. Just 17 seconds more. It's going to finish at 648 or so. So right when this attack starts in earnest, when 6 Zealots are on the field, we've got Speedlings finished. He's got 28 Zerglings on the map. There's 6 more coming. And he's actually starting to drone. He says, yeah, I've got enough already.
Yeah. He thinks he has enough. The job of these Zealots, in my opinion, right now is to try and kill off Spore Crawlers if they can actually get there, but I don't think they're gonna. That's so many Zerglings, and if we look at the drone count in general, TargA is in such a healthy position in comparison to any other situation he was in the past 2 games at this point in the game. So this can do a lot of damage for Welmu, kill off a lot of Zerglings.
Oh, nice. He's using the Oracle to kill Zerglings. Not bad, sir. Now, oh, wowie, wowie.
Oh, that one Zergling, he got through. Wowie, man.
A little bit of onomatopoeia there. Yeah, that's a really smart decision by TargA to go for the counterattack. That makes it way harder for Protoss to manage. And Protoss is always using very sharp timings here. And that's going to kind of mess with you.
Now, this is one thing that I didn't think was going to happen from Welmu, but apparently is. This is something that also Elfie's been doing as of late. He's been going for these gateway pressures, but then using the Oracles in tandem with the push itself to actually do damage at the front. Of course, then the Zealots try and work on the Spore Crawlers and shut that down. The Oracles have full reign over it, but Welmu's breaking through, and more Oracles are in production here.
Wow.
So he goes for this, and mixing these in against pure Zerglings, they do a lot of damage to Zerglings.
Yeah, and you know what? He hasn't made a probe for at least 2 minutes already, Welmu has. Now he starts probe production again. Now it looks like it's not going to work, he starts probes. But he killed the Spore Crawler just like you said he would. There's 2 Oracles now. Are they going to deny the Spore Crawler? I think they shouldn't, because you don't want to waste energy on a cancelled building.
Yeah. It certainly is a lot. Had TargA not gone triple hatchery at the beginning, had he not got away with that, and it would have just been a standard opening, this would have been a lot harder for TargA. But as you said at the very beginning, you know, TargA having that production capability to him, if those Zealots had stayed alive for a little bit longer and not had to deal with this many Zerglings, those Oracles would have been more useful as well.
Yeah.
So TargA got the better end of the straw here in game number 3.
And immediately behind this, we saw for a moment 11 drones were in production. That's the power that triple hatchery openings give you. And now the Zerglings are going in. This is terrible. He cannot afford to lose any sentries, and he's lost 2 already.
He can't afford to lose absolutely anything. Even the probes dying up to the top left-hand corner, being focused down by these Zerglings. The Oracle's trying to clean it up, but this is not effective use of these Oracles. Cleaning all of this up means that not over the other side, piling on some pressure, maybe with those Zealots that could have survived, but there's been a knock-on effect here for Welmu that's just hurt him so much.
Yeah, TargA getting done what he would like to. Any Zerg, you can ask any Zerg, they have a big standing army, but they potentially had some economic deficit. What do you want to do with that army? You just hope and pray for it to be able to do anything. You're gonna stupidly, quote unquote, try to bust through the Protoss wall, which of course doesn't happen because of super imbalanced Mothership Core and sentries, but it did. It's a numbers game here, really. The sentries got warped in late. It was that many Zerglings, and he busted through. And behind all this, he was droning. He's already at his almost ideal drone count for a 2-base Protoss. 56 drones, and he's just playing it safe here, starting to produce, because he knows he's in a winning position here. It's TargA's game to lose now, because of how everything went.
Yeah, and well, Welmu he's going to move out into the middle of the map here. All is not lost for Welmu. This could do some damage. He has force fields. He's going up against only Zerglings. There's going to be 7 roaches popping in a second. But if he positions himself well, if he catches the roaches, there could be a little bit of a shift here.
Now, we've only got 3 gateways for Welmu, so it doesn't do justice to the amount of production that he has. So this cannot possibly be an all-in that would work, safe for the situation where he would have a massive advantage. Which he doesn't. He actually has a bit of a disadvantage, so he's going to recall out within now to 30 seconds.
Ooh, yeah, he absolutely has to. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye, baby.
You could have gone now, and not the 30 seconds and looked amazing.
No, I played it a little bit too safe.
Oh well. TargA currently supply blocked, starting those 5 Overlords, and now, I mean, sitting at around 53 drones. Maybe a few more, and then really ramps up this unit production here to start pressuring his opponent. But Twilight Council +1, Void Rays, no third yet.
So Welmu's trying to go into that, can I say, Nanua or SOS type of playstyle with Void Rays and Ground Army. And he's done it before, certainly. He has made his fair share of Void Rays. But he's doing it from a position that's so incredibly disadvantageous. Oh, not good force fields. Not good at all. Those were not calm force fields. They were like, kind of force fields.
Panic, panic, panic. That's a lot of roaches behind your wall. He got quite a few Zerglings. And, whoa, hello. Actually, not doing too badly there either. Getting 9 workers in total.
Yeah, he killed some workers, but he lost an Oracle and some of the energy. And basically, Void Rays, right? They're either going to be used for a 3 Void Ray all-in, or they get used to secure a quick third. Doesn't have either one of those, so it's just like, yeah, I'm making Void Rays, and then I'm transitioning into more Void Rays, so I'm giving you plenty of time to make the perfect counter. Now, if you don't understand StarCraft, maybe you think it's like Hydralisks or Corruptors, but if you make Queens against Void Rays, you're going to be in a really good defensive position. TargA, he's already at 6 Queens. This was really nice by Welmu.
Yeah, it really was.
This is what he needs.
All of those roaches is exactly what he needs. Killing off that many for the cost efficiency that it was at, and taking this third, because TargA was going over there. He knew that that third base was going down with the Ling that was down there spotting it.
Oh yeah.
So he wanted to, try and pressure and see what he could do there, but there was no room. So Welmu now is securing himself a third base, kind of. All right, but it's going to be the second push here from TargA that Welmu has to be very, very careful about.
Yeah, and also one thing I learned through hard experience is that when the opponent has 78 drones, roaches are pretty much for free.
Yeah.
They're like they're like the coupon you get at your favorite store. It's like, yeah, you can come back for a free pie worth €5. That's what roaches are. They're free pie coupons. And yeah, sure, he lost all those, but it doesn't really matter because StarCraft 2 is an economic game. It's an economic game, and he has the economy. He can lose 10 roaches, 20 roaches, 30 roaches, doesn't matter. Welmu does not have the standing army now, and he will not have it in a minute to kill what TargA has for defense, which is basically 6 queens. And any kind of backup. Can be roaches, lings, roaches, doesn't matter. Welmu's dangerous army and dangerous economy is going to happen in about 3 minutes from now, not even 2. So TargA has that time to make a maxed out army, attack, lose half of it, make another maxed out army, which is even more well adjusted to counter Welmu's units. And it's going to be hard for Welmu. Welmu's got to play perfect from here on out.
And TargA, I mean, with this push, with the mid-game focus of Roach Hydra that he's going for, he's already preparing behind this. He's already got melee upgrades on the way. So he's saying, as I pressure this third base, I'm going to happily be able to transition on behind it. I don't necessarily have to fully kill you right now. Maybe just trade blow for blow. And then behind that with, you know, either Broodlords again. But I don't think it would be Broodlords on this map. I think it would be more Ultralisk
Yeah,
focused
what do
than
you think
anything.
about Ultras?
Well, on a big map like this, some big surface area to actually get your kind of claws into your opponent, if you take the right engagements, then they can work out.
Yeah, and then backed up with Queens and Infestors. It's going to be pretty good. But
Yeah.
we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We do... Oh, actually, we're not. We're not getting ahead of ourselves.
Infestors, they're on the way.
Pathogen Glance and Hive. That's the Infestor Ultra combo. And it's going to work out really well because Welmu is focusing on Void Race. Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, nice.
But this is what I was mentioning. They're kind of for free.
The one thing that Welmu has going for him is the fact that he's already mixing in a lot of Archons, which in my opinion aren't too bad against this kind of composition if it comes along, you know, the Ultralists, etc. But you need a lot
Archons?
more to that.
Yeah, you need more. Archons
Yeah.
are definitely not bad. They do bonus damage to bio, which, you know, Zerg is a bio race, so...
Even buildings are bio, I
Get
think.
back in there, Oracle. Yeah,
This-
even... Are buildings...
I think, yeah,
Carrot?
buildings
Yeah,
are bio
probably.
as well.
Yeah, okay.
Because look, it's moving and it's all kind of alive, so it's, it's bio. Yeah.
Oh, I saw it move. Yeah, it's alive. It's
Yeah.
definitely alive. Kill it with fire.
Kill it
it with fire.
Kill it with laser beams.
Yeah.
Kill all the drones with laser beams. Hydras, no, don't fight those. Run away. Oh, okay.
Close.
Close, yeah.
Yes. Dead Hydra. A little scared there. So, okay, back to this. Getting a little bit silly here. Infestors are coming.
They are.
TargA's plan here. Ultimate combo, right? Ultralisk, Infestor, and Queen. It's gonna mow down everything. Welmu needs an Immortal for every Ultralisk, basically.
Yeah.
There's the Ultralisk Cavern. Where's Welmu's robotics facility? He's got...
Does he even have
He
one?
doesn't have one.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Void Race can kill Ultralisk, but they're only really good when they're with prismatic alignment. Once it gets turned off, Void Race without armor upgrades do 10 damage to an Ultra.
Yeah.
An Ultralisk, right now, we've got the upgrades sitting at 1 armor upgrade. As soon as he gets that extra armor upgrade, 3, it's 7 damage. It's not a lot. They've got
No.
500 life, and they can get transfused.
Indeed. I think that right after this engagement, if it occurs, if TargA takes it, you know, because that's actually a really strong standing army here for
Oh
Welmu.
yeah, that's true.
This is kind of his time to
Yeah.
maybe do some damage. But he's
And he
just gonna
might.
s- Yeah, he might. But once the engagement comes, once TargA trades away a few units, then he can start adding in Queens as well, making his army really, really strong to keep those Ultralisks always alive.
Yeah.
And that's a scary spot, because again, TarGA's Ultralisk usage in this matchup is something we've seen quite a bit, and it's hard to deal with.
Yeah. So what he would need to do if he loses a fight decisively, and I say if here with a purpose,
Yeah.
he would need to buy some time, and we've already seen he's very good at that. Now Welmu, he's going to try and do some zealot harassment, pull the opponent out of position, and maybe gain some ground on the creep. Now TargA, his economy is spiraling completely out of control. I'm a little surprised that Welmu's not using this +3 attack timing to be in an offensive position. Right now, his army is better. Remax, it won't be.
He's got the 4th base going up down to the bottom right-hand corner. Whilst these Zealots go at an Ultralisk, this Ultralisk is going to die
my
to
God.
Zealots. Run away, run around in circles, wait for the entire army to come back as he's going to save it. Okay.
That's an agile little Ultralisk.
Yeah, he is. He's on creep, so he's all right. He's on like the little treadmill, but it's
There
going in
we go.
reverse. Okay, so
That was an energy drink.
oh, how kind of him. All right, what I wanted to say about that 4th base down to the bottom was, for a Protoss player just in general, taking this as a 4th base, I mean, he's kind of forced to because of the spawning positions at the very
I think
beginning.
it's logical, and he's hoping it's also a little bit secret.
Yeah, but if it gets spotted on a map like this, it's so hard to keep hold of. He
Yeah.
needs like so much defense there.
Oh, impending engagement, Galars! Take it away.
Well, anticlimactic.
Did you just do that? I said take it away. I didn't mean it literally.
Mind connections, mind games.
Okay, nice recall there, saving your buddy Welmu there. Now, second fight, can't recall out of this one. What
No.
would be the point?
Oh.
Nice storms.
Fungal growth hit a lot of the army as well that was clumped up, but you're right, the storms did rip through a lot of that. He's going to continue pushing on forwards against those Roaches and Hydralisks, which actually melt the Archons at the very front. He really doesn't have too much damage left over here, does Welmu. That's a lot of Roaches and Hydras continuing the assault.
Zealots being made here and Immortal being made, that's going to help out a little bit. There's still so many queens. They're
The
currently
queens.
not partaking. No, I do not partake in fights. All right, okay, I'll join you.
They're the medics of the StarCraft 2 world as they continue to just transfuse over and over and over. And this trade for TargA was fantastic because look what he's doing on the Remax. 5 Ultralisks, 11 Roaches, 7 Hydralisks. Every little thing as well as more Queens to keep those Ultras alive and keep the pressure on Welmu.
Yeah, I mean, TargA, he would have been happy with a trade at like 50% efficiency, where he loses double what his opponent does,
Yeah.
but instead, he got more than what he bargained for. He had an even positive, over 100% efficiency trade in there, and now with the oh, okay, TargA, that's a little bit premature. You don't want to waste units quite like that, but maybe you do.
That was like
Maybe
a cinematic there, with all of those units just marching on forward for the swarm. But
Where's the landing Viking?
yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of not relevant in this matchup, unfortunately. But yep, with those Ultralisks going to work on that last robo facility at this base. Look at this, TargA, GG, well played. The player comes in as a wild card into Group A and smashes through the competition.
And I've heard TargA say it before. He says, maybe you think it's a little bit strange, but I'm going up against anyone, slight paraphrase, and I think I'm the upper dog here. Like, he sees himself as the best player, and whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. That's the best attitude anyone can have.
Yeah.
And that's why he's advancing here, because he has a strong mentality, a strong play to back it up, and he sees himself there holding that WCS EU trophy. That kind of indomitable spirit will pay its dividends, and right now we've got him advancing, round of 8. Nice handshake there. Wow.
I mean, I come back to what we've heard TargA say in interviews in the past. He said if he could get into WCS Premier, he will do well. And he has proved it here in the round of 16. There was a little bit of a shaky move there. Good spirit there between the two players. There was a little bit of a shaky spirit going into the round of 32, pipping Ananiwa at the post, which was a great, great result for him. And now in the round of 16, going through in such formidable fashion, moving on to the round of 8, he's looking damn fine.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of Zergs left here in the WCSU. We've got 4 Zergs, and TargA could be one of the few that makes it to the round of 8. So he's got a lot riding on this. He could be the next big Zerg in Europe.
He could be. Is he the next Zerg Bonjour? I'm going to have to go with it.
Oh, yeah, Bonjour, 100%.
TargA, you. But I actually, to what you say about the Zerg representation here in WCSU, I'm pretty optimistic about their representation, with players like Nurchio now back on form.
Vortex.
And Vortex as well, always looking pretty good here in the round of 16. The Zergs could be doing well here in WCS Europe.
And then we've got the young buck Starbuck.
Oh, yes, we do.
Now, you know what's cool? Zerg is the only race that does not have Korean representation here.
Yeah.
So if we're going to see Zerg do well, it's going to be a foreigner.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not going to be a foreigner because we're in Europe, but you know what I mean.
Well, here is the final moments of this game, and TargA can only, we'll see now as he'll express his excitement about this. Very, very happy to advance on. And, you know, he's been working hard for this. All of his work has paid off coming into the round of 16.
Yeah, I believe he tried to qualify for WCS 327 times. I'm
Seemingly.
not quite sure.
Around that ballpark.
It must feel that way to him, doesn't it?
There were a lot of series there to qualify. And now moving on to the round of 8, a big congratulations to him. I want to hear from the man himself, Mr. Dignitas TargA.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. Congratulations, TargA. Fantastic 3-mapper against Welmu. I don't know where to begin, really, in this game, so we'll forget about map 1. Like, let's just forget map 1 even happened. Let's move on to map 2. You agree? Good. I asked Welmu just before we came to us, what was that build, map 2? And he just shrugged his shoulders and he said he didn't really know. What was going through your mind? Start of map 2.
Well, I think that he was hoping that I was going to do a 3-hatch before pull. So I see the Forge with my Overlord, and I think, okay, he's going to cannon rush, but he's going to fake it and force me to pull a lot of drones. And then I see that he commits to it, and I'm like, okay, I'll just send the rest of the drones down. And I kind of forgot to kill the probe. I started taking down the cannons, which wasn't the correct decision, but I saved my hatchery, and after that I have to watch the replay, because I don't know how he threw that game away. It was 99.9% win for him. And
Are you using a Ligulac stats here, or?
Yes. Of course.
Okay, I mean, you know, Apollo and I were watching the game off screen, and he was like, "Oh, it's cannon rush. Oh no, it's not cannon rush. Oh, it is cannon rush. It is cannon rush." So, like, you defend that, and I have to say, Rotterdam said on Twitter, "Sick hold by TargA," and he's absolutely right. It was an incredible hold, and then you go on and win the game, so that's great. 1-1, awesome. Set out for game 3. What was your mindset going into that?
I didn't think that he had the balls to go for a cannon rush again. So I went for the 3 hatch before pull. And like lately, I had some troubles with Welmu in the past because my scouting wasn't as good as it's supposed to be. This time I saw the Stargate, I saw the Oracle being made. I should have had the link set earlier because I had a very long supply block, which wasn't very good. But I held it without losing too much. I didn't lose any economy. Like, of course, I spent a ton of money on links, but at the end, it worked out in my favor. I had five or six queens after I held that. So with 3 hatcheries, so my economy just explodes, and I get the group spread going as well, which is very good.
I mean, third game just seemed to be going your way pretty much all the way through. Was there at any point, did it dawn on you? Did you sort of think, hang on a minute, like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go through to the quarterfinals. Does that ever enter your mind, or are you just so focused?
No, I was starting to think that. Like after he did like a small push with a few oracles and a void ray, and after I held that easily, I knew that the game was pretty much over. And then it was more like I had to contain myself, because if I knew that if I had attacked, I could have ended the game. But instead, I went for like pretty much the ultimate composition to kill that with the exact timing, and I did a good job with scouting and so on. I knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that, because it almost seemed like you were on the verge of winning, and then you just went slightly passive. Was that the kind of like, were you just checking yourself? I play this by the book.
Yeah, kind of. And I also know that Welmu is a very smart guy, so his only chance of winning was sending zealots to kill my economy and somehow stop my reinforcements. And I saw him sending out the zealots, so I was pretty happy about that. I caught all of them, and they did no damage.
Fantastic play. One final question for you. Quarterfinal is now yours. It's yours by right. You've won both games straightforwardly. You've knocked out Naniwa in round of 32. It almost doesn't get much better, but it does now, because you've got a chance in the quarterfinals. Did you honestly think when you entered WCS Season 3 that the quarterfinals was an achievable target for you?
Yeah, with some luck, bracket luck.
But you haven't had any bracket luck.
I haven't had any, but I could have been more unlucky. I want to avoid the Korean Terrans because they're really strong. I don't think Cappy and Lucifron compares to them at the moment, which is kind of sad for me because it's very hard to practice for them. But besides that, I had it pretty hard.
Yeah, you've had it pretty tough. Well, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. TargA is our first man through to the quarterfinals. He also keeps something that we've had as a little bit of a curse going here at WCS Europe, which is none of the round of 16 players from the previous season ever make it through to the round of 8. Well, Welmu's still got one more shot at breaking that curse before the end of the night, but this man is safely into the round of 8. Congratulations to TargA. And here now is Apollo to break down exactly how he won it.
Hello, thank you very much, Red Eye, and I'm here once again with some weather for you to kind of just look at how the hell this second map, because this is for me one of the most interesting, or the most interesting map of all three, because a successful cannon rush as a Protoss player is usually followed up with an Immortal Ullin, which is kind of the finisher killing move. My question here is, why didn't it work? Why didn't the Immortal Ullin finish off his opponent and win the game like it should have? And that's what we're going to try and look at here. So if we fast forward through this point, this is a cannon rush which was successful, right? It got down, it did a lot of damage, drones, lings, and at the end of the day, the Nexus begins very early on, way before we even see this hatchery being properly used. If we look right now, a lot of millions you've spent, money's cancelled, Nexus is down. If we pause it from here for a quick sec and look at the unit tab. So with the unit tab, 16 probes to 10 drones, and more Zerglings on the way. So you're asking yourself, how the hell can you be at a disadvantageous position and mess it up from here? So let's go ahead and fast forward it for now, because TargA still can't add to his 10 drones, right? So he's currently adding on more and more Zerglings to be able to deal with these cannons. Eventually breaks through. By the time he starts building drones, there's already an 8 probe difference. The Nexus is finished, but one thing I want to point out, if we pause it right away. So double gases, I think, were just added on. Okay, not yet. Okay, keep going, sorry. So what ends up happening here is a couple of things that really slow him down, I think. This third gas was added on very early. This, I don't think, was needed at that point right there. I think he should have added on the robotics facility a little bit faster than the third gas. The third gas here is going to bring his gas income really, really high. Sure, it's going to help out with a good sentry count early on, but he doesn't need to increase it too high before he chooses his tech choice. Because the main problem of this attack is it was only one immortal with it, which is really weird. There should be at least two. So he chrono boosts that immortal. We'll pause it again now. So as the immortal is about ready to pop out, at the same time, he's now mining a lot of gas. He's not quite fully saturated across all the minerals. He's got a very, very high gas income. TargA has more mineral income than his opponent. And obviously, immortals are 250 minerals. They're quite expensive. At the same time as this, in the main base, he's adding on all the gateways, and it was a lot of gateways. So if we play it from this position, as he's adding on all these gateways, the immortal finishes, but there's no second immortal because he's building a fourth, a fifth, a sixth gateway and just spending all his minerals. And at this point, he's not building the second immortal, and now he's well, I'm a little bit late with this. I should be going by now. And then the warp prism is built instead, and then it's already on its way of movement out. So at this point, this attack is very, very weak already, and it shouldn't be this weak. TargA has a massive supply advantage over his opponent, and I think really kind of messed up the follow-up build. I don't think it was as streamlined as he would have hoped for. And from this position, TarGA's already very well known for dealing with these sort of attacks, and as we see, he does deal with it very well. And with one immortal and so many sentries and zealots, he doesn't really have a lot of damage output. So sure, he's got a lot of force fields here, but I mean, how are they really going to help him, especially when he's going to get flanked and he doesn't even realize about it until too late? And without the second immortal, without a big amount of stalkers in there to really deal a lot of damage being warped in very, very late, this attack, I feel, was poorly executed from Welmu. And this was ultimately the 2-0. He could have won this series. The force fields are decent, but the amount of units that TargA's gone up to, the amount of queens, the lack of damage output, the force fields are dead. So, you know, eventually the sentries are useless because he's run out of force fields by now, using them all across this big circular area. And then Welmu, unfortunately, just lost this game. TargA pulls up a great, great defense. But I can't help but think, wasn't this meant to be the 2-0? Wasn't this meant to be Welmu's game to move on in first place? So it is a little bit confusing of how this was put out there. But any opportunity from any of the players given in the round of 16, TargA is the one that takes it. He takes the opportunity, and he's the one that moves on forward. All right, so we looked at that game. So thanks very much for watching, and pass it over to Red Eye.
Thank you, Sean. Fantastic analysis again, once more. TargA, the Norwegian Viking, or the Australian Viking, if you prefer, because I know he's got a lot of support down there, down under from the men in Australia as well. He is safely through to the quarterfinals. It's a staggering achievement from the massive underdog in Group A. We've got one spot left to find. We're going to find out the start of the lower bracket in a few minutes' time. But before we get that, I just wanted to make a quick mention for our sponsor here at the WCS Europe, Roccat, who are running a social media competition right now. You can go and join them on facebook.com/Roccat. Also, make sure you mention them on Twitter as well, @Roccat. I've also got here, and you know, if you were tuned in last season, you'll remember I dropped something, okay? So I'm going to try not to drop this thing. Okay, so this is a pure optical Roccat cone, fantastic mouse, 4000 DPI. It's got this fantastic stuff on the side. I don't know what this is called, but it's great because it stops it slipping out your fingers, which right now I'm really appreciating because it means I don't drop it. Right now on Facebook, I don't know if we can throw their Facebook page up. Can we do that? Can we throw the Facebook page up? Fantastic. Right now, Roccat actually have the competition to win a signed Roccat Cone Pure Optical by the legend himself. Let me hear the cheers. TargA! Fabulous. Good. I'm kind of glad that they're all, you know, all helping out with the TargA chance. So that's on there right now. You can go to the facebook.com/Roccat. Please do me a favor. If you're tuned in right now, all we've got coming next is adverts, okay? So just go to facebook.com right now, click the like button on that particular post, and you'll be in with a chance to win it. And if we can get over 1,000, I'll be really appreciative of everyone that's tuned in. Esports wouldn't be the same without the sponsors, obviously, so we thank Roccat for their sponsorship of WCS Europe. And of course, go and sign up right now on facebook.com. Thank you so much for tuning in all evening. We've still got 2 more fantastic StarCraft 2 matches to come. Who lives? It's going to be Stardust versus Happy, and one of them is going home. We'll be back in a few.
Hey, it's TargA. I want to talk with you